While the cable used on your Dialtune snare is more than strong enough to handle even the highest tensions, it will slowly wear out over time. It won't snap, but over many repetitions dialing the tension up and down, it will eventually fray and need to be replaced. How often the cable needs to be replaced depends on how often the snare is dialed up and down. If the drum is used like a traditional snare and rarely retuned, the cable won't need to be replaced very often. If the drum is retuned frequently, the cable will need to be replaced sooner. Checking the cable is easy. Dial the snare down to just past zero tension. With the tension released, look at the length of the cable resting between the first two pulleys to the right and left of the dial and check for fraying. This length of cable receives the most wear and is the most likely spot for it to fail. A small amount of wear is fine, but any obvious signs of fraying and splitting fibers means the cable likely needs to be replaced. Replacing the cable is easier than it seems. The first time might take a little longer, but you'll get it in no time. We can change the cable in about 3 minutes here in our shop. First, remove the hoop on whichever side you want to replace. Next, to remove the dials themselves, use the 2.5mm Allen key that's included with each drum, or any 2.5mm Allen key. Note that if you have an older Maker's Series snare, this will be a 2mm Allen key. Locate the set screw on the right-hand side of the dial, insert the long end of the Allen key, and turn left to loosen the dial. Make sure not to remove the set screw, then pull the dial face straight towards you to remove it. With both dials removed, you can now see into the cable housing. To remove the old cable, back the spool off all the way until the ends of the cable are visible where they enter the spool. At this stage, you should be able to pull the cable out of the holes in the spool. You can also use the Allen key to help push the ends of the cable out of the spool. Make sure to remove any bits of rubber left behind by the sealed ends of the old cable. With both ends removed, simply pull the cable out and away from the drum until it disengages from the pulleys. Now that you're ready to string up the new cable, begin by inserting one of the rubber-coated ends into the hole that is closest to the center of the dial. Push the cable through until a majority of the rubber end is visible, adjusting the angle of the spool as necessary. Next, bend the rubber end into a U shape, inserting it back up and through the adjacent hole into the spool. Make sure that the end just barely pushes through the other side of the hole, then gently pull on the longer end to tighten. Don't pull too hard, just enough to make sure it's locked in place. With the cable now affixed to the spool, you can begin threading the cable through the pulleys. The key here is to keep a little tension on the cable at all times to keep it from slipping off the previous pulley. Gently loop the cable around each pulley, making sure that it settles all the way back into the pulley housing. You can also use the Allen key to help guide the cable in. On the center lugs, press the cable into the pulley and use the Allen key to guide the cable all the way around. Repeat this process all the way around the drum until you get to the final lug just before the dial you started on. When you make it all the way around the drum and are ready to complete the process, you'll want to skip the final two pulleys and instead go straight to the spool and affix the rubber-coated ends of the cable the same way you did at the beginning, starting with the hole that's closest to the center of the dial and creating a U-shaped loop, tucking it into the outer hole. Once that end is fixed, simply loop the cable over the final two pulleys, compressing the rim a little bit if necessary, and using your Allen key to tuck it into place. From there, you can replace the head and dial it back up. Congratulations, you just replaced a Dialtune cable. That wasn't too bad, right? Just remember to take it slow and refer to this guide as necessary. As a general rule, we recommend checking your cable every 3 months or before you play any big shows or high-pressure performances. As a reminder, each drum comes with a replacement cable, and more of it is always available through our website. Now go play and have fun.